Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So I am going to be talking today about the next update. Should be 1.15 or something like that. I haven't decided yet. It depends on how much content I want to add to it. But I wanted to show you this video because it's going to be a big revamp on the current experience, right? So I don't know if you've seen my Reddit post or my Discord post, but from the last few weeks, I've been obviously developing Rysing, and since I've added campaigns, which I assume most of you have tried it. I felt like Rysing has become two apps inside one, if that makes sense. So you have the habit tracking side of Rysing, sorry, and then you have the campaign side of Rysing, right? And where the habit tracking side is much more like other habit trackers out there, but the world side, the campaign side of Rysing, it's much more, in my opinion, much more innovative and overall much closer to what I envision Rysing to be, right? So to me that's a problem, right? If I have two apps within Rysing, it feels like Rysing doesn't know what it wants to be. So with the couple last weeks, I've been toying with the idea of integrating all of that into campaigns, right? So I want campaigns to be not just a part of Rysing, but what Rysing actually is, right? So my goal is to turn Rysing into an RPG, right? That gamifies real life. So in this next update, I will be trying to bring that vision much closer to reality. So let's quickly go over what I have at the moment. It's not finished yet, but I think it gives you a pretty good idea on what I mean. Okay, so this is the home view, right, which is now called character view. And you see now that we only have the character container and the attributes, right? And these attributes remain as they were. So discipline, courage, fortitude, and resilience. These are the same across all classes. So nothing new here except for this visual representation. And then now, whereas before you had a solid blue color for the protector, you now have a background image, right? So it's much, I think it brings another visual clarity to the UI. I will also probably add a toggle in settings for you to disable these background images if you don't want them. I understand if some people prefer the solid background color, which is totally fine. But yeah, so this is the character. Then we have our journal tab, which you can see here is a bit different, but nothing too different, because I wanted to keep the overall experience of creating your own quests, tracking them, etc. Everything else, everything in that topic of quests, I wanted to keep. So the journal has bit of a different visual feeling, but nothing too crazy, right? And of course, you also have the background image. In this case, since the adventure journal, to me, I want this to feel like, so my goal, as you know, is for you to feel like an adventurer in the world. And this adventure journal, I imagine, is you, as the adventurer, you actually have a journal where you write all of your quests and you mark them down. So this is like your notes journal. So that's what I want the feeling to be. I'm not saying it's perfect, but this is an iterative process, right? So that's the feeling that I want to achieve eventually. And then you have the Chronicle, which before it was an item on the bottom tab. Now it's contained within the Adventure Journal as well. Okay. Next we have the map. So the map is the what you see currently in the campaigns in previous updates, right? So a bit of a different feeling. So now you have the header, which tells you the zone you're at. In this case, Ashfall. You have the current location. In this case, I am in Hearthgate. You have the number of leads and etc. And then here you have the normal content. So you have the moments which are around you. In this case, I have two, which is help Senna clear storm damage from her workshop, which is one of the moments where we will meet the Senna NPC, and she also has a campaign for us. And we also have the last hearth, which is a quiet figure sits near the tavern fire. This is where we will meet another NPC, which will also have a campaign for us. So these two moments lead to two new campaigns. Now, it's not required that this doesn't mean that every moment will lead to a campaign, but in this case, these two moments do. So you have the normal stuff. You have the innkeeper, right? Because we're in Hearthgate, we have the tavern, and you have the discovered leads as usual. I also moved the bounties. I don't know if you've used them, but the bounties from the quest list view in previous updates, it is now in the news board, right? Because to me, what I want bounties to be is, I imagine you're in Hearthgate, right? You have the news board, and there you have multiple pins with multiple bounties, which are quick quests you can complete. In this case, you can see you select your interests, and then you get these template quests based on your interests, and they refresh daily, right? Cool. So that's the map tab, and of course you can go back, see all the zones you've unlocked, etc. You have the leads tab, which shows you all the different leads you have unlocked in different locations. You don't have to be in that location to see the lead. And you have the log. This is where you will see your active campaigns, your active moments, etc. So you can keep track of that, right? And finally we have the camp. Now, the camp is where you will see stuff related to your character, right? It's slightly different than your character tab. I wanted to separate both because I think it makes more sense. So in camp, you see stuff like the constellations, right? Where you can see what your current progress is related to each constellation. You have your recovery, which again is related to constellations as well, which is yeah, like I was saying, which is related to constellations. And you have the training, the training section where you see the roadmap, the road marks. This is where you see the list of what you unlock at each level, right? And you have the change class button here as well, where you can change to a different class. In this case, I've switched in the last day, so I have to wait another day, but this is where you can change your class as well. And we also have live skills at the bottom, which unlock at level 4. So when I unlock live skills, they will appear in your camp, right? So this is the separation. And you also have the, so as you can see here in the road marks, you have at level 5 you will unlock the standing and bond, sorry. So this is where I want to introduce the reputation system. So to me, in order for you to feel like you're in an actual world with meaningful interactions, I need to add reputation to NPCs, right? So the more you interact with an NPC and help them, the better you are, the better your standing is with that NPC, right? So you unlock different tiers of reputation. And this can bring multiple rewards. You can find out more of the story or of the backstory of that NPC, etc. This could unlock new campaigns. So you get the idea, right? I want to add this system. And this system, I don't want to unlock only for NPCs. I want eventually for this system to also branch out to settlements. So you will have, a reputation within Hearthgate and eventually a reputation within Ashfall itself, right? So I want this to be a system that will grow over time as I introduce more and more features. Okay, so at level 6, you unlock the bag. So the inventory, I have also done a revamp to the inventory. I felt like the previous system was a bit disconnected with the current campaigns or world side of Rysing. Because when I implemented the inventory system with the materials and the equipables that you could craft, it was before these campaigns and this RPG side of that now exists within Rising, right? So I felt like it was due a revamp as well. So I'm going to revamp the inventory. So my idea for it is to remove crafting altogether, at least for now. I think it's just too much overhead. It doesn't add much. And I want to add equipables still, so you can drop or you can get rewards which are equipables that will have bonuses to your character. For example, character experience, attributes, campaign experience, stuff like that, right? Passive bonuses, as well as cosmetics and stuff like that, new themes, maybe, I don't know. But you won't have to craft it, right? You will unlock these items at specific times while you're progressing in the storylines, right? By completing moments, by completing campaigns, etc. So that's what I also plan on doing with the inventory tab. So hopefully you'll enjoy that a bit more as well. I want to add a bit more. I want to make it feel connected to the rest of the world system, right? Then you have the Atlas at level 9. Atlas remains as it was before the update, okay? I didn't change it anything yet. I plan on revisiting it in the future to see exactly what I want with Atlas. Yeah, my idea for it originally was to have like a constellation node system where you could see or you could see where over time you would populate the constellations with new nodes and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm not saying I'm gonna scrap it. I'm just saying that I will revisit it at some point in the future to see if it makes sense. And then the Paragon system as well hasn't been touched this update. So this update is more along the lines of trying to integrate everything into the world system, right? Whereas before it felt disconnected, now everything is contained within the same system. And over time, I will add more stuff to as content and better integrations as well. So for example, maybe I will add new rewards for the systems that affect your standing in the real world, stuff like that. I have an idea for this is something for the future as well, but I have an idea to add to the future where you could create your own items as rewards. So for example, let's say that you are creating a custom quest, right? And you want to reward yourself with 1 hour of video games if you complete that quest. So my idea is for you to be able to add custom reward items where if you complete the quest, you get that item sent to your inventory and you can consume it, and then you would do that action in real life. In this case, you would play video games for 1 hour, for example. That's also another thing that I want to add in the future. So yeah, this is the new update. Please let me know what you think, if you like it, if you don't, if you understand my direction. Also, this means that the campaigns will be unlocked from day one, right? So you will immediately be thrown into the campaigns. You will no longer have to wait for a level 5, which is also a big part of the integration that I was talking about. And yeah, that's it for the for what I have before going on vacations. I'll be going on vacations for 2 weeks, so the app won't receive this update until at least 2.5, 3 weeks. It depends on what I still have to do when I get back. And yeah, hope you enjoy it. As always, if you have any feedback, please leave a comment. Create a subreddit post. I check Reddit and Discord. Join the Discord. Feel free to talk to me over there if you like this idea. If you don't, also subscribe to the channel, all that stuff. And yeah, thank you guys for watching, and that's it. I'll see you next time. Bye.